Hello and welcome to Writing America, Pages and People. If you're here to learn about an American author and some of their works, then you're in the right place. My name is Rachel Rigolino and I'm an instructor in the English department at the State University of New York at New Paltz. So come on, we'll watch this video and leave some comments below.
Saul Bellow is one of the most important writers of the 20th century. He was awarded a Nobel Prize in Literature and is regarded by some critics as the inheritor, quote, of the mantle of Hemingway and Faulkner. Bellow was born in Quebec to Orthodox Jewish parents who had immigrated from St. Petersburg, Russia. He was the youngest of the family and grew up in a poor area of the city. He remembered being, quote, generally preoccupied with what went on outside on the street, and I watched from the stairs and the windows. As a young child, Bellow spent months in the TB ward of a local hospital, although he didn't actually have TB, and he had nothing to do but read. Eventually, he mastered Hebrew, Yiddish, French, and English. When Bellow was 9, his family moved to the Humboldt Park area of Chicago, where he lived in an immigrant neighborhood where he immersed himself in the sounds of the street, reading, but he also loved sports. He did well in high school and attended first the University of Chicago and then transferred to Northwestern, where he founded the college's Socialist Club. After graduation, he embarked upon a graduate studies in anthropology. This was after being told that he would find it difficult to get a job in an English department as a Jewish professor. But then the professor under whom he worked told Bellow that he wrote anthropology like a good novelist. So in 1937, he married Anita Goshkin, a social worker, and abandoned his graduate work in anthropology. In my innocence, he once remarked, I had decided to become a writer. Critics have noted that Bellow's greatest strength is his style, which is fluid and rich, picking up the rhythms and energy of Yiddish and the plain speech of the Midwest. His characters are colorful and compelling, but as some readers have observed, his plots take a back seat to the characters in his stories. Some have even called his stories and novels, quote, formless, without a clear narrative arc, criticism which Bellow readily accepted. Now, is Bellow what we might call a Jewish writer? He certainly balked at such a characterization, but others have made the case that his fiction portrays, quote, the full range of the American Jewish experience. Through Bellow's comedy, intellectualism, moral preoccupation, and sense of alienation. Alfred Kazan once noted that Bellow presents, quote, the unreality of this world as opposed to God's, which often leads his characters to having sardonic reflections about the absurdity of human existence. Bellow has a connection to the Hudson Valley. He taught in the English department at Bard College in 1953 and 1954, and bought a house eventually in Dutchess County near Tivoli. The photograph on this screen is of the English department members at Bard, and Bellow is indicated with the red arrow. It was during this period that he wrote the short fiction that would provide the fodder for one of his best novels, Seize the Day, which was published in 1956. One of these short stories was A Father-to-Be, which is a great introduction to Bellow's general absurdist vision of life and prose style. It was published in The New Yorker in 1955. The reader is given a front seat to the inner thoughts of Rogan, the central character, who embarks upon a simple enough journey from his apartment one Sunday evening to have dinner with his fiancée. As with a lot of Bellow's fiction, there's not much of a plot, but Bellow keeps us engaged by Rogan's often humorous reflection on the people he encounters on the street, in the deli, and on the subway. Indeed, one can imagine the young Bellow looking out of his window many decades before in Quebec, making conjectures about the passerby. Critics have noted that A Father-to-Be can be regarded as a, quote, working draft of his novel Seize the Day. Seize the Day was made into a movie starring Robin Williams. A summing up of Bellow's literary career is difficult. He won numerous prizes and wrote so much. In 1976, he won both the Pulitzer Prize and the Nobel Prize in Literature. And in 1980, he was awarded the O. Henry Award for short fiction. Here are four of his perhaps most famous novels by decade. Dangling Man, which appeared in 1944, Seize the Day in 1956, Herzog in 1964, and Humboldt's Gift in 1975. This is the novel for which he won the Pulitzer. As he grew older, Bellow's politics shifted decidedly to the right, and this is likely one reason we don't read him as much as we used to. He fell out of favor with the intelligentsia and literary critics, not only for his politics, but for often unflattering portraits of women. He did marry 5 times and had not the best relationship with his children. Bellow died in 2005 at the age of 89. In his obituary, the writer for the New York Times noted, Saul Bellow was the, quote, self-proclaimed historian of society, whose scathing, unrelenting, and darkly comic examination of his character's struggle for meaning gave new immediacy to the American novel in the second half of the 20th century.